So here's the question. Write a complete C program which find the maximum of 4 numbers A, B, C, and D. Remember that if you can find the maximum of 2 numbers, then you can use that to find the maximum of 4 numbers. That is, the maximum of A, B, C, D is equals to the maximum of A, B, the maximum of B, of C, D. So here's what you're supposed to do, and they said format your answer such that the largest 12, 23, 11, 32 is equals to 32. Okay, so the first thing we need to do here, we are supposed to write a function that finds the maximum between 2 numbers, then use that to find the maximum between 4 numbers using this code given here. So since we are doing it using C program, let's start. We do it on the whiteboard first, then we'll implement it on the phone to see the results. First thing first, okay, next thing, let's use the function maximum. Int maximum, max. I'm using int max here because we are going to return a value. We are going to return an integer. That's why I'm using int here, and that integer will be used again to find another maximum. So this function returns an integer. That's why we use int. If you return a floating point number, we would have used float, and so on. Then we need to pass 2 parameters in this function. So we'll pass int A, int B. So these are the parameters. Since we need to use 2 values, we need to compare 2 values and find the maximum. That's why we have 2 parameters here. If we want to compare 3 values, then we have had 3 different parameters. So the next thing is we have int A, int B. So now the next thing is, if A is greater than B, return A. If A is greater than B, return A. Else, return B. So it's just as simple as this. That means if A is the greatest, you return A. If B is the greatest, you return B. And I have a small question for you. What happens if A is equals to B? Drop your answer in the comment section. So now we know how to find the maximum between 2 numbers. We are going to use this now in our main function to find the maximum between 4 numbers. So we are going to have int main. Okay, so we are going to use these values directly. So you have int A equals to 12, B equals to 23, C equals to 11, and then D equals to 32. Okay, next thing, we have max 1, max 2, and then max 3. Okay. Now next thing, we find the maximum between A and B. So we have max into A, B. We have max 1 equals to max into A, B. Max 2 equals to max into C, D. And then max 3 equals to max into max 1, max 2. Okay, so what happens here? This function int max find the maximum between a and b and save the result in max 1. This does the same thing and this does the same thing. Just find the maximum between max 1 and max 2 and save the results in max 3. So this is how you're supposed to format our answer. The final step is supposed to be like this. That means the final output is supposed to be like this. So we are going to have print f largest into percentage d, percentage d, percentage d, percentage d. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shall I get close? Equals to percentage d full stop. Comma A, B, C, D. Comma D. What am I again? Comma max 3 semicolon return 0. Okay, so this is just a print function. It's going to print the largest between a, b, c, d equals to max 3. So this is a code. We'll implement it on the phone and we'll see the results. This is the final C code. As you can see, I haven't changed anything from what was written on the board. Here is the final C code, and we are going to run it and see the result. Okay, so that's the result. The same thing that was asked on the question paper. We have a public Telegram group. There I'll be sharing how you can get the input from the user. You can get the 4 inputs from the user and you run the code, you still have the same answer. If you want to join, it's free. You can use the link I'll provide in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Until we meet again, stay curious.